Are we recording?
We are, yeah.
I'm filming myself in the studio.
Yeah, well, you finally got what you fucking wanted, isn't it?
What? I don't...
Ray's gaff was down the drain the minute that you heard about this. Fuck you, anyway.
Carla, look, Jane, is that right? Because I feel a bit like Joe Rogan. Can we just shout at you, call you Jamie, and then you can do all the research over it? Yeah. See?
Is that what
Knew
happens?
it. Yeah.
I didn't even know that.
I do not watch.
Oh.
Do I come in now? Hello, I'm omnipresent.
Hello, I'm in the background, but just always.
Hello, and you're very welcome along to the Unpopular Opinion podcast. My name is Jen.
And I'm Carla.
And today we have Fionnuala Jones.
Hi, guys.
I fully thought your second name was Jay.
Did you?
Just J-A-Y.
Just a lot of people think that, but it's just a really shitty Simpsons reference.
I don't. Explain.
There's just an episode where, because Homer's full name is Homer J. Simpson, and he goes on this quest of trying to find out his family and whatever, and try and find out his middle name, and then he finds it, but it just turns out it's J-A-Y, and it's this whole revelation thing, and that's the butt of the joke.
What age were you when you set up that Instagram? Or
probably too old to be at that. You know.
I like it.
Good.
Well, I fucking like it, Carla.
Okay, well, that's
Thanks,
that's
Jen.
Today we're in Collaborative Studios and we're going to be talking about sustainability, but we feel like we needed to have a person who knew what they were fucking talking about on today's episode.
Because we certainly don't.
Hence, Fionnuala J.
I'm very, very flattered. I don't know, I have a very small amount of knowledge.
It's more than us.
I'm trying to be more, but I'm definitely not peak sustainability. That's very on brand at the minute for Instas and other people online. So if you're looking to people to follow, I wouldn't necessarily suggest myself, but I'm trying, and I think that's the important thing.
It's more the fact that you're I would say new age sustainable.
Oh yeah.
As in, it's something that you've kind of gotten passionate about currently, and
as you're learning about it.
Yeah, that's why you're fucking here, right?
But it's more prompted on the fact of it's not even that I necessarily have a massive love for it, but it's just that I'm just terrified because the world is.
I'm just telling you to move your mic in closer to you.
Oh, me?
No, not you.
Do I keep moving away?
Yeah, you do.
Fuck's sake.
Stop annoying Jamie, will you?
Not Shane, no, Jamie. Anyway.
We're the Joe Rogan podcast.
Welcome back.
Welcome back.
Is this where I talk about MMA? Or what are we smoking weed or what?
Well, the only Joe Rogan thing I ever saw was when he was just ripping it out of the Kardashians, being they look disgusting.
Oh, God, yeah.
And I was like, you are actual trash.
Old man yells at cloud. There's another Simpsons reference. Quite literally,
But he's that type of person that his comedy is all about weed and drugs.
Is it?
Weed, drugs, and
men
dicks and fannies.
Yeah.
It's that vulgar humour
Both
that nobody really
and
fucking...
fannies,
yeah. And riding.
Inclusive.
What
Do you know,
a combo.
gyrating. Do you know that kind of...
Yeah, but it's when it's a chat about riding and it's not actually about riding, there's nothing to it. It's actual fucking toilet humour.
Oh, it's so fucking...
But that's him.
It's not funny. Yeah, that's Joe Rogan. Have you ever seen his... No, well, obviously not. But he has Netflix specials where he's doing stand-up. I think
because he's he's a stand-up guy, an MMA expert in inverted commas, and a podcaster. He's a lot of strings on his bow.
He does the commentating for MMA as well.
So he is actually legitimately.
Yeah, no, he's the commentator.
I thought he was just armchair commentator.
No.
I thought he just got famous on YouTube. I'm not joking.
No,
I thought
but that's definitely his main thing now. That's
YouTube.
his definitely main source of income shit and whatever buzz.
Is
yeah.
That. Well, that's that on that. Anyway, back to the fucking main topic here, which is sustainability and go and fucking recycle. Bring out your green bins and don't be an arsehole, essentially.
Does Joe Rogan recycle?
Probably fucking not.
Probably not. And if he does, I bet she's not doing it correctly.
No.
Because it's very easy to do it wrong.
You went to the Repack Centre recently.
I did, yeah.
And you learned a lot.
I did. They have a facility out in Ballymount, and for some reason they wanted a load of influencers. Again, in inverted commas. They have a new PR person, so I think they were just trying to be this is what we do, blah, blah, blah. So I went out with a couple of other people and they brought us through like the process and what they do with the recycled materials and where it goes and how they sell it on. And it was actually probably one of the best things I've done as an influencer, in inverted commas. It was very, very interesting.
I'd say it was really interesting. Like, and it, like you said, it's very easy to like recycle incorrectly.
Oh, like I would say like 80% of people are doing it wrong. Like, and that's, it's mad.
Fucking scary,
yeah.
like, isn't it?
And it was just like, I really, if I can like put out one thing from my visit, it's just the smell of the place was like just like shite on fire throughout the whole just burning poo, like, and it's people manually sifting through the stuff. Jesus so like if you're like, I know it's hard to like go out and do all the research or whatever and find the info, and it's really annoying when you can just fuck everything into the black bin, but like just please do it. Just please think of those people who are literally sifting through nappies.
Oh no, don't know.
Yeah, like it was really, really not enjoyable. And I knew I was going to see people sifting through shit, and I was like, ah, yeah, whatever. And then I was there, and I was like, this is just for hours. And I'd say it's the most thankless job.
Oh yeah, and I have a huge respect for like that, and even because my dad was a bin man for a while during the recession, he was just doing any job that he could find. Yeah, and it's just not fucking nice. Like, no, it's horrible. Jesus Christ. See, it's funny because I always find, and I know it's probably so easy to look it up. As you said, just look up what you can recycle, like look up the proper way to do it. But I always just find myself looking at the list, on the side of the green bin and going, yeah, that doesn't really answer me question though. The thing that I have in my hand, like.
But that's the thing, and there's a load of things as well. Like you might pick up a product, and on the back of it, I always find it with like English products, or like Tesco as an example, right? And I'm not like ragging on them or whatever, but I found
Tesco?
I
hope Tesco aren't listening.
But it's like, okay, so say I went, even the other day, right, I went and I got like a bag of porridge, and like, do you know those like kind of soft plastic bags? Yeah. It's like the cheapest one, it's like 83 cents, whatever. And then you get like the cardboard canister, and that's like €2. And I was like, oh, you're obviously going to buy the cheaper one or whatever, because it's the exact same thing. It's Tesco own brand. But when we were there, I actually asked, because someone had asked me on my Instagram, they were like, what does it mean when it says check locally or whatever, blah blah blah, like the recycling guide on the back of products? And your man there was like, half the time that just means it can't be recycled, and there's very few places that will take it to process it, and they're just not saying it, they're just passing the buck. And like a lot of the time when they say that as well, and it's like, oh, it can be recycled, or a facility will take it, they will take it to sell on to an incinerator. So you might think you're class bringing like your soft plastics to a facility, but you're not really, because they're not recycling it, they're taking it to sell it on, which is, there's a lot of business involved in recycling and like waste management, which is like tapped when it's just something we should be doing to save the earth. It's mad. So like, it is one of those things where like, I didn't know about soft plastics, so that's like that bag that I said, like cling film, obviously, bin liners, the stuff that covers like, like the plastic that covers fruit and stuff, like that cannot be recycled. You are just better off putting that in your black bin. Like, that's not going to be recycled. Yeah, because the machines they have it that like sift through, it's like, I'm making a motion with my hand that nobody can see, but it's like the plastic basically gets caught in like this kind of turbine thing when they're sorting through the process of sorting, and that gets caught in the machine, that stops the machine, and then the people have to go in and like manually cut that out, like nearly like once an hour, I think is what they said. Jesus. Cutting it out with like bread knives. Jesus. Because the people are like, once it's put in the black bin, it's gone, like that stuff is gone. But if you're putting it in the recycling thinking, I'm great, like this is going to be sorted, it's not. And I know I'm not giving out to people because a lot of people don't know, but like I'm saying that now is, if you're doing it now, stop doing that please, because it's bad.
I do always find that like I said, those lists are so short on the side of the bin that you actually don't really know, and sometimes you just fucking in and it's like, that's the end of the line for me. It's fine, I don't have to deal with that. But even just an example, so my mum was with Panda, and it was like a bin liner, but I think what her whole thought process behind it was that she thought that she could recycle whatever type of material that this bag was made out of, and she put it into her recycling bin. And she, like, the bin man came, and then next of all, like a week later, she got a letter in the door from Panda with a photo that was taken inside the truck.
Oh my God, you've been framed.
No, like this, you could clearly see that this was after coming from my mum's bin, and they'd taken a picture of it inside the truck, and it was like, this is bad. You shouldn't be doing this. Like, she basically got a written warning from Panda, which is funny though, because I was with Thornton's when I lived in the country for like 3 years. I had like a bin liner that I thought I could recycle in my recycling, like the two sides of the bin or whatever, and I'd always have them in a bin liner. No, never once got a letter. For 3 years.
Yeah, I'm the same with my...
Do you know what I mean? So it's like, do you know what I mean? I feel like if there was more... Because my mom's shitting herself now. She thinks she's a fucking renegade. Do you know what I mean? Like, she's just like, oh, no, you're going to be put... Do you know what I mean? Going to get arrested. You know, it's a bit of a joke in our house now. But, like, I feel like if that happened all the time, it would stop people from doing it.
That's what I was going to say. Like, fair fucks to Panda for actually doing it. Because, we did that for years as well. Like, probably only up until, like, maybe 6 months ago. Like... we were doing the same thing as you, like putting the recycling in the plastic bin, and we went and they were like, do not do that. Like, just, it makes no sense. Like, just don't. Like, why would you do that? It's being recycled. Don't put it in something that can't be recycled. But obviously we didn't know, whatever, blah, blah. But like, nobody got on to us either. Like, I'm with City Bin Company. Nobody got on to us. But like, it's a bit kind of scaremongery as well. But I mean, if it stops people doing something, that's fair.
You can be sure as shit my mom will never do that again. Like, do you know what I mean? But for 3 years I did it without being told, so I thought it was grand.
But that's the thing, but it depends by company as well, because I had put up about, like, you can recycle aerosol cans, right? They can technically be recycled, but it depends by company again, because some guy got onto me and she was like, why are you saying this, but you can't? And I was like, and I looked it up and I was like, your company won't, but my company will. Again, it just depends what they're willing to take, because they obviously outsource some stuff and sell stuff on to other companies, which is what I'm saying about the business of it and like the politics of it, when it's just like, why are you looking to make a profit when there's kind of more important things at stake, like the planet fucking catching fire? Do you know what I mean?
Like the planet actually just combusting.
Like, let's call a spade here. Like, how much more money are you gonna, like, just take the fucking cans if they can be recycled? But it's the same with Tetra Paks. We were told when we were there, it's like Tetra Paks are like milk cartons and stuff.
As I say, what the fuck is a Tetra Pak?
But we were told then that they can't be recycled. And again, I said that on my Instagram and they were like, what the fuck? But it says everywhere you can recycle them. And like, technically they can, but the thing is, it'll depend facility by facility again, because the way they're made, it's like paper and a polymer, which is like a combined plastic. And to fully recycle them, you'd have to separate the paper from the plastic, which is like fucking impossible to do.
When they're like compressed into a Tetra Pak.
So it's like, they can be recycled, and it's the thing where it's like, just because some things can be recycled doesn't mean they are. So the thing you're better off doing is like, reduce. The 1R in the triple R message, reduce, use, recycle. Just do less. Like, recycling is class and all, but fundamentally we need to just be doing less, buying less, using less.
Yeah, that is mad, because any recycling centre that I've ever gone to, mainly there was like two that I can name, like Blanche and Trim. Both of them had big containers that clearly say Tetra Pak on the top, but they're obviously outsourcing them to make money off, like.
Yeah, like well, like, I can't say for definite. I don't want to be again. I've already slagged Tesco. I don't want to slag the Blanche recycling centre. But like,
to be honest, slag if you want, they're not going to listen. You fucking keep slagging them.
I can't wait for your strongly worded.
It's going to be like Mr. Tesco. It's going to be like, see you old bitch.
See you, yeah.
Darling from County Council Recycling Centre and Blanche has something to say about Neil Jones.
No, but like they could be. I don't know, but it's more a case of, I'm not saying everywhere outsources it, but like, it is a case with a lot of places that like, and it was another thing people said to me, it was like, why do some places take soft plastics for a while and then turn around and be like, oh, we're not taking them? It's because maybe they're not selling them, people aren't buying them. Like, there's more politics to it than you think, which, as I've already said, is just bullshit.
I did not know that. Yeah, it really is like a...
Like, as... I think the problem is when you're talking about sustainability and when you're talking about recycling and when you're talking about essentially just not fucking killing the planet, is that there's like such a fucking pick me mentality when it's like, but you fly all the time. Yeah, well, fuck off. I want to use my metal straw. Or it's like, but you buy from Pretty Little Thing. And like, I totally understand where that mentality comes from, because I think nowadays it's just the culture that we live in. People feel like they need 99 new outfits and they need all this other shit. But it's like, Pretty Little Thing will continue to do its bits for like probably the next 4 or 5 years.
Oh yeah, that's the thing, and that's why a lot of people, that's why there is this pick me mentality where it's like, well, like, you're not really why are you doing this when you could be doing X? And like, what's the point when it's like all the top 10% companies, like if they just why am I drinking with a fucking metal straw when if they just did shit, we'd be fine.
X, y,
like
Z,
what's my small difference going to make? And like, that's fair. And that's why I'm very reluctant to like align myself with a sustainability movement, because in a lot of ways in my life I'm very contradictory, because
100%.
as I say to people,
Everyone is.
yeah, but like everyone is
say, like, I think everybody is though,
but like we're at a point in our lives, and for everyone I think, where there's still a lot of areas where convenience and like price is just going to come out on top. That's the thing. And like, but even from a place of like passions, like obviously you're Mua, Carla, I really like beauty shit, like as much as I want to try and like improve other areas of my life, I like to go out and buy palettes and shit, and that's all made of plastic. You know what I mean? It's very, very hard.
Well, we were only saying this in the Notions one last week. There was a quote shared, and I'd be just trying to find it, but basically the fundamental message of it was, it was a quote from somebody, can't remember the name, but it was like, to the person who doesn't eat me but drives a diesel car, I thank you. To the person who drinks it, you know, like, so basically everything, little small thing that you do still does make a difference. And I don't think that we should be, because I saw, who was it? Somebody was commenting on a blogger who was talking about something in an airport. She's talking about using less plastic in an airport or something like that. But there was a really like passive aggressive comment about it, going, oh yeah, look at her talking about
I know who it was.
Yeah.
I know exactly who it was. She's one of my mates.
Yeah, and she was like, this comment was basically like, oh yeah, look at her thinking she's fucking great talking about using less plastic in an airport where she's about to get a fucking plane. And it's like, do you want to land all planes? Do you want to park all cars? Like, this is a fucking useless comment. Like, you can't just land all planes. Do you know what I mean?
There's another...
But she is doing something. Do you know what I mean?
It's Laura's views, by the way.
Yeah. There's
I'll text you now and tell her that we're talking about her.
There's another influencer as well who just did Rosanna Parksell. She just did a campaign with Deep River Rock, and about their bottles are now like made from recycled plastic, and she's done like 2 posts from them. Not that that's pedantic, but like the comments are like not mean, but very obviously being like, Rosanna, like, that's grand, but like the best thing to be doing is like single-use plastic. And I mean, that's obviously another issue, because it's like, it is kind of like practice what you preach, and it's awkward. But I've gotten it myself, even with when I did the Subway SponCon that I did about like their vegan sub whatever, and blah blah blah. Obviously people trying to be like more adaptive with their diet and flexible and whatever. And I had someone immediately comment being like, they still use a lot of plastic though, and I was like, yeah, that's not what I'm here to talk about.
That's just
like,
not
you know what I mean?
it at all.
I also accept that there's fuck all I can do. I came and I made sandwiches and that was it, right?
Yeah.
And then there was another thing as well where you also got the pennies came out with like a biodegradable glitter. And I showed it on my stories, literally just showed them. I was just like, this is a buzz, whatever, blah, blah, because I don't like, I just try and show things. I don't try to be like, buy things. I'm just like, look at all this shit, because I love looking at other people's shit. Anyway,
I love looking at
other people's shit.
But is that not like a sign of the times as well, where it's like it's drilled into us? I fucking love watching people buy things.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Like, it's so wrong, isn't it? And that's why, like, again, it's such a contradictory statement, but I refuse to support all of these new fast fashion brands for 2 reasons. Number one, we've already got enough of that shit going on. Like, as I said, Pretty Little Thing is going to be closed down in a day. It's just not happening. Boo-hoo, all that other shit. Like, it's just not happening. And number 2, fucking stock a size above 12.
Yeah.
Don't fuck me off anymore.
Yeah.
And it's like, those 2 are my 2 huge reasons. It's like, okay, like, if you want to be that kind of brand, like, do your fucking research and understand that, like, the number 1 size in Ireland is size 16. So fuck you for that. And also fuck you for the fact that you're, like, coming up with what's already out there. Like, we know why you're not stocking those sizes. You're not stocking those sizes because you're buying them from a massive catalogue in China.
Yeah.
Which is actually just, it's all like feeds into the same kind of premises. Is that it's like, all of that is just killing essentially the planet. So it's like, there's no need. Like, find a better use of your time.
Yeah. But
just find a fucking better business.
The hard thing then with that as well is then you have like sustainable brands who like also don't extend their sizes. And then you have the issue with charity shopping and like vintage shops where they obviously buy a large selection of stock, but they might still only stock like
certain sizes. I mean,
it's
like the whole size thing is just an added detail onto that. It's more the fact that it's like, the reason why you don't stock these sizes is because you don't have a factory.
Yeah.
You haven't set up ethically. You're literally getting whatever stock you can in to shift it for a profit, which obviously everyone does, but you're not doing it with any thought in your head.
Yeah.
It's like fucking 2019, just like, can we stop with this shit? And I've seen like 2 new Irish ones in the past while, and I'm like, seriously lads, I've just screenshotted that and popped it into AliExpress.
Yeah, I don't know how people think they're getting with all these like Insta shops. I'm like, where were you?
But
where were
That's what
you?
I'm saying. I'm like, it's too fucking late now. It's 2019 and people are already starting, like ASOS have a whole sustainable section. You know, they have all this like new way reused denim, all that other shit. They have a fucking vintage section.
You can shop from like Oxfam on ASOS as well now, which
on
is
ASOS
class.
now.
Yeah.
And like, we're getting to that point now where things are becoming so much trendier to shop vintage, you know?
Can I just... was I the only fucking person that would re-wear an outfit for a night out, though? I feel like there's so many people talking about sustainability and they're like, I don't buy a new outfit for each time. And I'm like, I never fucking did. I didn't give shit that I was wearing the same outfit that I was already pictured in. Like, fuck off with that. Like, there are people that never did that in the first place.
100%. There's loads of people. Like, I know Nadia. I fucking talk about her every episode. I'm like, I love you, Nadia. I fucking fancy you, Nadia. You're my woman. But she's never fed into that. But I think that's because it's your generation. Like, what age are you? 32? 31?
Yeah, 31, yeah.
Nadia's 33. Like, you're an 80s child, and I feel like that's a very much... What age are you, Shane? Oh, you're my age. Okay, so maybe he's a my age thing. But it's like more, you kind of, like, I grew up, I remember ordering my first dress from ASOS when I was 17, I think it was. And that's like, I remember being like, oh my God, I can buy a dress for less than €50. And that was like how it started. Because Pennies wasn't cool.
No.
Yeah, Pennies
years
was
ago.
not cool.
Pennies was absolutely not fucking cool. It wasn't stocking anything other than like
where-
dad t-shirts and socks.
It was
like,
where your
let's
man
not
brought
lie.
you for basics in
Yeah.
Mary Street.
And you were almost scarlet going in there. You'd be like,
Yeah.
and now it's like, thanks, son, Pennies. But
Yeah.
like, it's again, Pennies is a whole different fucking ball game there. But like, it's just, you know, when you're in that generation, and I think that people like connected with it, you were just so used to it because that's what you do. Like back then, I even remember I'd buy one Lipsy dress and I'd see how many times I could get a wear out of it.
Yeah.
Whereas now, and I fed in, like I've definitely fed into it, 100%. And I think it's also because I'm in that industry. Like I'm in beauty. I work with predominantly females. It's like a status thing, and that's what it was. It was like, you have a new outfit. Whereas now I feel like we're reversing it. It's like, I love the fact that you're re-wearing that shirt.
Yeah.
It's
But it's not a radical thing. Yeah, I'm wearing
It's
my
not radical
Charlie Sheen.
thinking.
Like, yeah.
But it's reintroducing it to be normal again. Because
Yeah.
for a while it wasn't normal.
Well, I hope it does fucking happen because I always thought it was the height of notions buying a new outfit for like, because you've already been like, I've close friends in my family who and people in my family that would like wear an outfit once and then Depop it. Like, do you know what I mean? Now,
At least they're fucking Depop.
Yeah, at least they are Depopping it, but it's just the notion of like, oh God, no, I couldn't be wearing that again. Do you know, who do you fucking think you are?
Yeah, but
Do you know what I mean?
I think the thing, again, we said this last week in our Notions. If you haven't listened to our Notions episode, I suggest you do. But it's like this whole thing where I feel like people live in a bubble now where they think they're actually like, it's that whole persona of like trying to act like a certain person because it's what they see. It's like getting a photo on a yacht or getting a, you know, all that other kind of shit. It's like,
But it's just this whole thing of like, I think we're all, well, maybe not all of us, but like there is this thing of, there's a section of people who are just, who think everyone is thinking about them and it's just really not. I get really bad for that as well, where I'm like, oh, XYZ, blah, blah, blah. And anytime I ask a person for advice, they come back and they're like, they're not thinking about it. And if they are, it's not for anywhere near as long as you think they are. Like nobody has the time. Nobody has the time.
No, like,
Why
no
would you
one
give a
does all the
fuck?
time.
Wear your fucking dress.
That's actually one of the things that I absolutely love. I think it was Darren Gary's dad said that nobody gives a fuck about you. And then she explained it one day and as in like, think about it. If somebody's after doing something really embarrassing across the road, how long do you actually think about that for if you've witnessed it?
Yeah.
5
I
seconds
think about it
max.
for a while.
Yeah. You're
Carla
the
thinks about
problem,
it.
Carla.
I'd literally be on my phone being like, blowing up the homies. Letting everyone know.
Every single group chat. Like.
Every single one.
Realistically, you're thinking about it 5 minutes max and that's it. Do you know what I mean? So even like that, having that kind of self-obsessed thing, like, oh God, everybody's thinking this about me. It's not fucking happening. Like, nobody is thinking about you. Nobody gives a fuck about you.
Yeah.
But by
Maybe it's
nature,
like
we
that.
are self-obsessed. Like, that's just that.
Yeah.
That's just that on that, kids.
Yeah.
Yeah. You have stats for us, do you?
I do.
She's looking at her phone. I want these stats. I want to get educated.
Will we talk about fashion? Will we talk about the fashion sustainability?
Oh, like we were just saying there.
Statistics, yeah.
Here's me being like, fuck you, stock beer sizes.
So like at the minute we have roughly kind of like 52 mini seasons of a year in terms of fashion. So you know the way you'd have like spring, summer, autumn, winter. But with the way fast fashion is going, like with Misguided, Pretty Little Thing, I saw it first. There's like new drops every single week. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's kind of hard. I understand the temptation when you're getting emails into your inbox or you're looking at influencers and they have a new thing up and you're like, yeah, all right, and they have the link and you're like, swipe up and you're like, yeah, fuck it. Like it's way more accessible to us now. So it's just too much clothes.
Do you?
As well, I feel like just because, and I'll fully admit this now, I have shopped on Boohoo twice in the last 3 weeks just because the maternity sections are so
I do that
shit in the
twice a
shops.
week.
But that's the thing as well. There's so many barriers to people, like pregnant people,
bigger
plus size people, like.
There is
Yeah.
What
so
are you
many
supposed to do?
barriers.
Like, I would never criticize someone like that because it's like you have to do what you have to do. Like, you know what I mean? You have to buy clothes.
One of the things that I noticed though is that last week there was like 40% off everything. Then I went on this week because I fucking ordered something in the normal size. I had to get the maternity size then. But then this week it was 60% off. I was like, what's the story with there always being a sale? Like, why is it so like buy me?
It's just at the rate they're producing, they have to get the shit out as well.
Crazy, like.
Yeah, it's mad. Every second, the equivalent of a bin lorry full of clothing is put into landfill. Not a buzz.
Again, like what I was going to say is that I've gone on to Depop. I physically can't find anyone my size.
But
like,
yeah,
it's been
like-
difficult to find people my size. Very difficult.
Yeah.
So again, as he said, it's very hard to repurchase, rebuy. And the same with vintage stores. I'm like, why am I going to go in there when I'm going to get like a t-shirt and it's men's? Do you know what I mean? Like, it's going to be like my dad's Tommy Hilfiger t-shirt that he used to wear in the pool.
Like
I was swimming in.
like a t-shirt from a fucking corporate team building.
Exactly. Gonna get like a Yahoo t-shirt and be rocking it around and being like, Yahoo's fucking in. It's so the same.
What do we think of though, like the brands that are making a really conscious effort to use organically sourced
Name
materials?
one.
And H&M is a big one now. Their basics, a lot of their basics are
Name
now.
two.
I think
I'll keep going, Jen.
there's-
Stop me now.
No, in fairness, like, and I know like Penny's is definitely not the best for anything, but their t-shirts and all now would say organically sourced materials. Do you know what I mean? Like there
And their
are
swimsuits.
there are.
But is that true,
Well, I mean, they can't exactly label it if it's not true.
Jen?
I think
Can
it
they?
is true, but
That
I
is a
suppose
fucking blank
it's...
statement.
Put it into writing though. Like
Put
you
it
can't
in.
really-
You've got it there. It's in writing. Fuck you.
No, but realistically, like, do you know what I mean?
They can, and they have, and they will.
I suppose it's the bigger issue. It's that it's like, oh, these jeans are made from recycled material. And it's like, yeah, but again, at the rate you're producing, what the fuck does it
Yeah.
matter? It was the same when like Pretty Little Thing came out with a recycle line. It was like offcuts from the factory, and it's like, yeah, but like you've probably about like
A million
yeah,
offcuts. Yeah.
like do you know what I mean? It's which is I can understand that criticism, but again, I am very much of the position that it's like, it's better than nothing. If you are coming from a place where you are doing sweet fuck all and you go in and you listen to this podcast or you watch someone on Instagram and you're like, right, I'm going to go buy a pair of jeans that are made from recycled material. I'm like, grand. Like that's one tiny thing that you did and maybe it will have a knock on thing. It's the same with like, I find, do you know, the veganism debate and whatever. And I know Laura's views again takes this position where it's like, I don't think you can preach because I think people automatically get their backs up. And that's the position I like to take with sustainability because it's like, I just feel like if you're trying to be in someone's ear and lecture them, they're immediately just going to be like, right, okay. They're just
Well,
gonna
I think it's again this whole
burn
like,
some aerosols, like, you know.
But I think it's
Buzzing.
like it's that turning thing again, where it's like Irish people were so fucking stubborn.
Oh,
Like,
yeah,
we're like,
yeah.
how fucking dare you tell me to change something that I've been doing for 20 years? And I'm like, well, if you don't stop doing it, there won't be a planet to live for another 20 years.
Yeah, but there's this thing as well where it's like, I don't think people believe it. And it's hard
No,
when you have
people don't,
government
yeah.
who are like also pretty much being like, it's fine.
We got a few. I'll keep going with your stats, but we'll like, get to a few people's opinions as well. There was
a really good one
I
there, Big
know-
McDonald's.
I know.
Oh, I'm intrigued.
I noticed a few opinions about people's nearly like conspiracy theories as well. They're blaming the government and all about being money and stuff.
Leo's
Keep going with your
fault.
stats anyway, Will.
Jen's like, and subpar conspiracy theories.
Yeah.
If you are looking to like shop around and be a sustainable one, the fabrics that you need to be looking for are like recycled polyester, organic cotton, because like normal cotton just takes so like there's so much water involved in the production
Is
as well.
there?
Yeah. Irish linen, organic wools, organic leather, and guess how many gallons of water it takes to make one pair of jeans? Fingers on buzzers.
Gallons of water.
Yeah.
What's a gallon? Like
bucket.
no, as in like
a large bucket. I don't know. And
like a
I'm going to say 50.
I'm gonna say 150.
1,600,
Fuck a dog.
which is the equivalent of one person's like water needs over 4 or 5 years.
So for one pair of jeans.
For one pair of
So you
jeans.
couldn't even throw in like another 9 and make 10.
No,
Not even another
No,
one
no.
and make 2.
no, just
Jumped really high up there.
Wow.
your standard Johnny jeans are ruining the planet. Sandra, cop the fuck on.
Cop the fuck on. Your Mollies from River Island.
Yep.
See you. I
Yep.
fucking see you. I see you, Dublin, wearing
That
your
is
Molly jeans.
shocking.
Yeah,
That's
Wow.
why I don't wear jeans. It's not because I can't fit into any of them. It's definitely for
It's
that
the
exact
water.
reason. It's the water. It's the
saving the
fucking
water.
water.
there's a shock in the water. Yeah, it's mad. But again, I think it's hard when you lay it out like that. I know some people, the numbers just go over people's heads. And
Well,
like,
they're gonna hear that and they're gonna be like, yeah, well, fuck that. I'm still buying my Pocos.
yeah,
Like they will.
Yeah.
people
Like,
laughing all the way to the bank while the
yeah, they're
earth
like, ha
just
ha ha
melts.
ha ha. But they're 1,500
I
gallons of
suppose
water.
It depends on the person. Like, it depends on how that number affects you. Like, I would always think of that now. If I went to even look at a pair of jeans, I'm like, 1,600 gallons of water. Like, do you know what I mean?
Do you think it
that's
will?
one of those things that would stick in my head. Yeah.
Be honest.
Yeah, no, it would. Definitely.
Be honest. Don't lie to me.
Fuck off, Carla.
Me sitting here booking 18 flights a day. I'm like, be honest. Do you think that's gonna change you? Like a fucking arsehole.
But you drink out of metal straws.
I do drink out of metal straws. That's my. I know that sounds absolutely fucking stupid, but
No.
that has been like
To the
my
your
biggest
thing.
contribution.
To the
Fair.
girl who takes 18,000 flights a year, but
But
drinks
drinks
out
of
of it.
metal straws.
I thank you.
Do you want to know how much plastic straws like sum up to in the grand scheme of things? Do you know that people are like,
Probably absolutely fuck
Yeah,
off.
I would like to know this because there was people complaining about the paper straw situation because it goes soggy in their drink.
0.025%
Jesus
of the word, like, you know what I mean? It's very small. Have you had edible straws?
Oh no, but I saw you tasting those
They're
lime
divine.
ones. Are they?
They're like, do you know like the necklace sweets you used to get, but like nicer in a straw, and they're really sturdy. 26 cals.
Fab.
Divine.
Divine. You can eat them.
Divine.
It's a whole
Hashtag
thing.
slinger friendly.
Hashtag. That's actually one sin.
So what?
But there's a debate against like banning straws as well, because if you are a less able-bodied person, like straws were invented to be used in hospitals so that
Yeah.
people can sit up and drink and whatever. So like, again, as much as I'm like that's class, like do your bits, get rid of your straws, whatever, we need to think bigger. Like, again, I like to like big up those people who do that, but there needs to be a bigger train of thought or like a next step where it's like, okay, what else?
On the topic of that, wait until you hear this.
No.
So this is one that I was like, oh, fuck a dog. So it's an anon. We'll keep you all anon as we do every time. So I think a lot of companies are doing it for the image, to be honest. I work in McDonald's and they brought in paper straws but do not recycle properly at all. I think that people who complain about it need to cop on. It's such a small difference in their life, but a big difference to the environment. We need to make sacrifices to make a change, simple as.
There doesn't
Yeah.
seem to be that much of a big difference, though. Looking at that
Jen,
percentage, is there?
like as you just said there, we're doing those things, but where's the follow through? So they've introduced paper straws, but not fucking recycling them.
But
And
they
I-
say-
Why is my straw soggy then?
I guarantee McDonald's aren't the only ones either. You see it
they're
a lot
not.
with like it, like the term is like greenwashing. So it's like these companies, and a lot of people could argue that that's what Penny's did with the biodegradable glitter, where it's like, we're so green, look at us, blah blah blah. When it's like, when you look at it on a wider scale, it's like, you're not that green, you know what I mean? But it's the same with people bringing in like compostable cups, like coffee shops and whatever. If they're not put in the compostable bin, like
Yeah.
they won't break down. There's no point. They can't be recycled. They need to be put in the compostable bin. So if like a company isn't following through with that, it means fuck all. And the only place that I've seen that be like really clearly labelled and like enforced is Happy Out and Clontarf. Like they're very much like brown bin, the cups go in there, nothing else goes in there.
Yeah, you do have to be very like, this is that. Please don't fuck it up.
Because then they're like, it's compostable, so like surely it's recyclable, just put in the green bin. But like again, it goes back to those people who are siphoning through stuff. Like it takes 2 seconds to just read or just look at something and be like, okay, this needs to go here. And if it's not easily accessible to you, maybe they don't have a brown bin, which again, like why would you have compostable stuff if you don't have a brown bin? Anyway, like take it away and bring it somewhere. And again, I know you're like, oh, why would I bring my soggy cup with me somewhere? If you're really arsed, you'll just do it. It's not
Yeah.
it's not that much effort in the
That's
grand
what I
scheme of things.
noticed as well, because even the coffee shop beside us in work, they are after getting compostable cups in, but like we've nowhere to put them. Do you know what I mean? So you just
It's
have
random
to,
shit like that like just fucks it though, isn't it? Like I adore the thought, but like can we maybe think it through more than the fact that this will look good for
yeah,
you?
follow it through from start to finish, and then maybe you'll be making. We can say that you're making a difference then.
Yeah.
You know?
Like I think if people are really arsed, and this comes from like people and companies, like they'll go where it hurts them the most, and it's their wallet, and they'll contribute to like environmental charities and stuff, or put money towards initiatives like that, as opposed to like, here is a paper straw, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Again, it's like, put your money where your mouth is, you know what I mean?
I do think paper straws are the fucking devil though. And
No,
I'm like, I do. But anyway, I've got one here. I'm trying to cut down on my plastic and general waste, but I'm finding it really hard. I bought a Keep Cup, Love Island water bottle, notions, metal straws, which I use all the time, but when it comes to shopping, it's really hard. Fruit and veg is always covered in plastic. Everything I order online comes wrapped in cellophane, in an oversized box with bubble wrap or those plastic bag balloon things for padding. I think there's only so much the consumer can do, and companies need to take more responsibility for this. Stop using non-recyclables to cover things like bananas, oranges and potatoes, which have their own built-in wrapper.
Oh my God, yeah, that was when we were coming back from New York in the airport. Like I was going up to buy something, and at the till was just apples, just a stack of them, just all cling filmed. And I was like, just apples, just all cling filmed. Like, and I was like, oh wow, it's not as if they don't come with their own natural fucking protective skin.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
But it's exactly as you said. It's like there is only so much the consumer can do. Like, it's capitalism caused this. Capitalism won't fix it, you know what I mean?
But at the same time, I'm going to debate that, right?
Woke.
And not to not be woke, but I do find that, like, and I've just seen this from, you know, managing social media for bigger companies. If I sent you a bottle of serum, you have to pay him €56 for the serum, right? Put it in a box, that's grand. That box obviously has to go into a bigger box, preferably something branded, because, you know, marketing. And how am I filling that box? Because it's happened so many different times. And again, I found it like such a fucking pick me thing from influencers, where they're like picking out certain deliveries and being like, this is fucking ridiculous at blah 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 blah. Look how many plastic beans are in this at blah 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 blah. I'm like, where the fuck was that energy 2 minutes ago when you were getting your ASOS things? I just think it's they do it almost for attention, and then they don't actually think it through. Like it's happened a good few times with the company that I used to work for, where people would, like, one girl in particular, you know exactly who I'm talking about.
I also gave out about before, and you gave me a bollocking.
I did, because at the end of the day,
you were
people,
right,
like, because people don't understand. I'm like, but do you want the smash serum or not? Like, you don't seem to understand. DPD, this is where they could maybe think of something, because they fuck stuff in, and especially when it comes to serum, makeup, stuff like that. It's a very thin glass bottle.
Yeah.
Like, hopefully we'll find a day where there's like refillable cartridges and stuff like that, because let's not lie, I fucking hate it. Like, if I'm after buying like kit top-ups and I buy 4 new bottles of foundation and I'm taking them out of the cardboard and the plastic and everything, like, it does kill my soul, because it just goes into the bin and I'm like, oh, that's so bad. But you are gonna cause fury. You would be giving me that same message if that came broken. But it would be like, how dare you? Blah, 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 blah. I just paid €56 and €4 for shipping, and it came an hour late, and the dropper isn't fucking working.
But it's the thing, like, if you were really, really, really that bothered, you would just stop accepting PR. Because PR in general, like, it serves a purpose. I don't disagree with it. I accept PR. I will always accept PR. I love free shit, right?
Yeah.
But if you were really that bothered, you will stop accepting PR. Like your one Samantha, the YouTuber, did.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, definitely. And I think that, like, that's a really good initiative, because, like, it has, but again, is it not coming? It's biting people in the arse now, where it's not cool anymore to send them like a carousel and 3 waltzers with their press package.
Yeah,
Like, it's just not cool
just,
anymore.
yeah.
Like, people, like,
I would fucking love a waltzer.
If somebody could just send me a waltzer,
I
that's.
got a big lemon last year. Did you just get the club lemon?
I saw other people getting it, but that was like plastic, wasn't it?
It was fucking huge. It was
But
ridiculously
what the fuck are you
unnecessary.
going to do with that after? Like, do you know what I mean?
I know, and it was full
That's
of
another
foam.
thing, and that's what I don't think. Like, companies, I get it. Like, we're all trying to make a splash. We're all trying to be cool. I've worked on teams trying to make these ideas and be like, why don't we have an animal just hopping out of the box, and then we'll train the animal to run back and we'll do it for another person. Like, I'm not
800
joking.
tiny horses, please.
Like 800 Gemma Collins and her horses. But it can be difficult, because you do want to make a splash and you do want to look cool, and it became, like, I'd say around 2 years ago, where it was like, the flashier the better.
Yeah.
Kat Von D gave a full coffin to everyone, I think, at one point. Like, what the fuck was that?
Yeah.
that was the culture, that was the thing. And again, I accept PR. I accept PR for 2 reasons, because I want free shit and also because I use a lot of it. I mean, I am a working artist, so it helps
it's different
me.
for you, yeah.
It definitely helps me along in my life, you know. But I do feel like if we did a cull of our lists, maybe did make them so large and kind of hit targeted people.
Yeah, but this is the thing as well, where it's like, I think PR, now I'm not saying just in Ireland, and I don't, you know the industry better than me, where I think PR is just like, yeah, she has X amount of followers, we'll send her this. And it's like, I know I get stuff sent to me and I'm like, yeah, this is class, but I'm like, this is not relevant to me. There's only so much I can do bar like show it. Like where you get makeup, you can show how to use it, blah, 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 techniques, whatever, blah, swatches. Like I get shit, I'm like, okay, like whatever with books, I will read the books. But then there's other things I'm like, what the fuck am I supposed to do with this talking music box that I'm never going to read? You know, like it's...
What's the most ridiculous piece of PR you've gotten?
Oh, there was a thing where it was like promoting like a music thing, like a collaboration, and they had...
BB Rex's new song.
No, imagine.
Oh my
you
God.
love me harder. But it was like a microphone selfie stick and like other things, which didn't work. Which I was like, all right, but it was obviously a hunk of plastic, and then it was like food and stuff. That was fine. But then the box was like, do you know, it's one of them with a screen in it, and it's like it plays a little video and it makes loads of noise, and you're like, this is cool for 5 seconds. And then it's like, I can't. It's not even like I can reuse the box, because I do like reusing the boxes. I'll reuse all of my envelopes, but otherwise, what the fuck am I going to do? I can't store shit in it, because every time I open it, it's like blah 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 blah, like singing. I'm like, fuck off. You know what I mean? What about you?
I think, and it was more like, it doesn't matter because some of the girls I worked with will listen to this. Smashbox spent 25 grand on I don't think I can say this, but I'll fucking say it anyway. They spent 25k on like a lipstick printer, and it used to print onto a mirror, so you could do like a palm tree or like a little kiss, and it was done in lipstick. So it was
my God.
It took fucking forever. It was a bitch to clean, and the girls, because it was in the studio over in London, and the girls that used to like would be like, I'd actually give up my job to never have to touch this fucking piece of equipment again. Like, it was the most unthought through thing. And like, while it was cool, what the fuck are you going to do with that plastic disc with the mirror in it with the print? You're hardly going to use the lipstick because you don't want to mess up the print. Like, it's cute, but it has a shelf life.
Yeah.
And like, I thought it would have been cool for like maybe one event, but just the sheer like cost of that machine alone.
God, I can
just
imagine.
like,
But it's gas as well, because, and I don't know if this is worldwide, but I know in Canada, Smashbox are like, have now come out, or in recent months, all their PRs are like, all the PR packages are like recyclable and like.
well, what I love
very
about
reduced.
like, that's probably one thing that they like, and I wouldn't even mind, it was probably not that bad for the environment. It was going onto Mirror. I don't know what that's like to recycle. What I like about their PR things is they send a bag with every single PR drop they do, and if you don't think you're going to use like all the darker foundation colours, or you know, that's another thing. Like, don't send fucking 45 foundations, Fenty.
Rex my nut. Rex my nut.
Stop
Rex my nut.
please, like, this is such another example of such fucking lazy PR, and I get that we're talking about sustainability, but it does tie in. Like, send an email, ask them what their shade is, and say like a MAC foundation. Send them 3.
Yeah.
Or say, do you use it on clients? What's your most popular shades that you use on clients? Do your fucking job.
Yeah.
Do not send them 40 fucking foundations. That is ridiculous, and it's stupid.
It's so wasteful.
It's so wasteful. But what Smashbox did, which I thought was an actual inspired idea, and if anybody who's working in a company in any way high up in Ireland, please do this. They send a bag, and everything that you don't think you'll use, that goes straight to a women's domestic abuse shelter. And they like do homeless shelters, domestic abuse shelters, and anything for women.
Very
Like refuge
good.
centres, which I think is
Fantastic.
perfect.
Yeah.
Because you're doing your thing, and then you're also recycling your
Yeah.
thing.
That's very good.
Was the lemon the most ridiculous thing you got? Or
yeah.
So what was it? Just a big plastic
just a lemon and like
It
the
was
bottles in it,
big
or
plastic lemon, and it was filled with foam, and then it was
Oh, Jesus, foam.
Four,
Oh, no.
4 bottles of Club Lemon in it. That was it. Just on the subject of brands, makeup brands in particular, Marissa Carter got in touch about this, and she said, "My opinions are too long to fit in the box that you put up. We cancelled an order for Christmas boxes made from plastic. There would have been in and around 10,000 of these sets coming in. Cancelled because I didn't feel right about being responsible for that much plastic waste. I do think brands are becoming much more conscious of the impact of their materials. P.S. Hate paper straws."
And you know what, MC? You're not fucking wrong.
She just for context, anybody who doesn't know Marissa Carter, she owns Carter Beauty Cosmetics and Coco Brown. But she's after consciously now didn't want to be responsible for that much wastage, so cancelled. Like, she'll probably have to come up with a whole new thing for Christmas.
Yeah, and this is like, I think people are very quick to be cynical about stuff and be called greenwashing and stuff. And I understand that, but I think it's about giving people choices. And I do think you have people like Marissa, and I think the smaller companies definitely are more in tune with what the consumer wants. Like the fucking top 10 again, and the big companies.
It's easier to change it, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like her distribution's primarily Ireland and the UK, so it's very easy for her to just be like, fuck that, and switch it off. Obviously, it'd be great if people took more things into consideration, but it's great that she even took that into consideration, because most people would be
fantastic.
like, keeps my costs low, I'm saving 10k.
Yeah, but that goes back to what I said. It's like, if it's convenient and it's cheap, people are going to be like, yeah, they wouldn't be bothered their whole, like, paying the bit more or whatever.
Same with ready meals. They'll never go out of fashion, like, because that's what people want. They want convenience. They want to fuck it in the microwave for 10 minutes.
That's
just like
the thing.
everybody was like, microwaves will be dead in 10 years. And now we're like, microwave, my phone, see what happens.
You have YouTube channels literally dedicated to just microwaving the shit out of things.
Question, actually, what do you guys think of mukbangs?
I've never thought, just in a sustainability frame, like buying loads of food and just not finishing it. Or,
Yeah. No,
That's
just in
interesting.
general. How do you feel? Do you want to do one? What do you fucking think I meant?
I don't really watch them, so like...
I don't watch them because I find it fucking weird. But if you don't know do you know what a mukbang is?
No.
Okay, so a mukbang is essentially like where YouTubers, and there's people with millions of followers, they like go to a McDonald's and they'll get like 30 cheeseburgers, 30 things of fries, sit down and record them trying to eat it all.
like
Now,
talking about something that's really weird.
So it's like, so today I was doing whatever. It's fucking weird.
But I suppose it's the same as it, like those like 10,000 calorie challenges or whatever. Like, yeah, like if you're doing that for clout, like fuck up, like, because fact time, like 40% of what goes to landfill is organic waste, i.e. food. So like,
Jesus.
and a third of the food produced globally goes to waste.
1/3.
Yeah.
Was it France that made that decision that they're now, it's like they've hit a thing where it's like, I think it's like, if it's the day of and it's still on the shelves, they donate it to homeless.
Yeah.
That's France, isn't
Yeah.
it? That's France.
They
the
should be.
France.
The frost. They should be. An example of this, last week, Adam went into the random spar shop at about 5 o'clock. They were packing up the deli. Mm-hmm. Like, there was still like sausage rolls and, you know, stuff kind of
Delicious jambons that nobody
sandwich,
got.
yeah, sandwich fillers and like little pastry things and all from that day that they were about to throw out. And Adam was thinking of the dogs. He was like, can I have them? And I'll give them to me dogs. Like, do you know what I mean? What are you doing with them? And they were like, no, they're going into the bin. And he was like, well, I'll take them for my dog if that's all right. Like, can I just take a few little treats, little sausages or whatever? And the debate that the chap behind the counter and the manager had about this, he was like, yeah, but we're going to throw it in the bin. And then the manager was like, yeah, but I feel like we need to charge him. Like, we need to charge him at least €2. I don't know if I can do this.
I'm going to play devil's advocate for that, because I've worked in the food industry. Name an industry, I've worked in it. But fucking worked in it. There is insurance issues around stuff like that, especially if it's like end of the day food, because it's like why people don't get rolls in delis after 4 p.m. is because that food has been sitting there all day, and like as much as they're refrigerating it, like you've seen flies float around O'Brien's, like we all have, and it just happens that way. So I can see if they were clever enough to turn around and be like, just insurance wise I actually can't, you might say it's for your dog but I can't trust you with that. And it happens with things all the time. Like people used to come in when I worked on the counter in Smashbox and be like, can you not fill this pot with your sample? And I'd be like, absolutely not, because where's that pop in? If you have a reaction, we're liable for it.
Yeah.
Like, so unfortunately, no, I can't.
Yeah, now I understand it from that standpoint.
So like, but it's the fact that your man was like, oh, can we charge him? Will we do this and that? I'm like, so you don't have a standard.
Like, there was
you don't have a standard then.
No, there was nothing about
standards.
insurance. There was nothing about food poisoning. There was nothing. It was literally like, I need to make money off this or I'll get in trouble. Or will we just throw it in the bin? That was the only two options that this fella had.
But it's interesting to consider that though, because I was literally just about to give out about the fact that like I've been at a good couple of festivals this summer and obviously having a few pints, a few beverages, and they obviously come in like the plastic cups, and now a lot of them are recyclable or compostable now, but there was a couple of them where I was just like, right, I didn't bring a cup, so I'm just going to try and reuse it. And you'll go up and you'll be like, can I have a pint? And they'll go and try and get a new cup, and I'm like, no, like I have this one, like it's the same drink or whatever, and they're kind of looking at you being like, what? But I don't, again, like, to be honest, I don't think it's from a position of they're worried
No,
about
that
anything
they're not.
happening. I think they're just like, what? Like, we'll just give you a new cup. And I'm like, yeah, I don't want one. And they're like, no, we can just give you one. I'm like, no, like, this
Please
is fine.
don't.
This still works. This still serves its purpose, but
It's a fucking cup.
do you know,
I've
I
used
love
flower
my cup.
pots. I love my cup. That's my cup.
I love my cup. I wish they did, do you know, like in 7-Eleven in America, obviously, where they do like the free...
Where they kill the planet in America.
Yeah, America's another story. But they have like the days where they let you bring in like whatever fucking, bring your own cup, and they let you get like the slushies, and people bring in like buckets and shit. I would be all over that because I love slushies, but I cannot
too.
bring myself to buy them anymore because they come in those stupid fucking plastic bone things and whatever.
Well, aren't they trying to, like, apparently McDonald's, because there's been such a kickback about the straws, they're now trying to do the bamboo straws?
I haven't seen that, but would
Or
encourage.
what was it? Ivory. But not like ivory
Not
from
like
a
elephants,
like,
like,
not
okay.
like, don't look at me like that.
like like ivory,
Not
like,
like an
cups,
elephant's
like
tusk. I think it's like a new way. I think they're describing it as ivory because it's like looks
Okay, yeah.
or it feels, or I don't know what the shit. I'm like, I don't.
It's
really
that
feel.
kind of buzz.
Yeah, so I think that's what they're like trying to roll this whole thing out.
Yeah. Well, that makes sense because like
But
paper
like
straws are
McDonald's
shit.
could make a massive, like, that's a corporation that could make like a huge fucking difference.
Yeah, but then again, you're coming back to the issue where it's like the majority of their products are meat products, and that's a huge area where, like, if we're talking about,
Are you trying to be a pick me, or are you just, what are you doing there? What's that about?
I'm just saying,
Explain
just
yourself.
like if we're talking in general in terms of like carbon emissions and stuff, if you really want to do one thing, it needs to, you look at your diet. And I'm not saying go vegan. I'm not vegan. I'd Bunsen for lunch, right? Like, I'm fucking
Oh, what a good choice.
hypocrite Henrietta over here, like, but it's a thing
We're
where
going
it's
for
like,
Wow Burger after this, don't we?
it's just one of those things where it's like, again, if you're a person that eats meat every single fucking night of the week, go veggie once. Okay, Carla's like, but like, that's where you genuinely can make the biggest impact. Like, people are getting very caught up in the plastic thing, and I agree with that, and I'm not saying don't, but
I totally
Emissions,
get it. Like,
guys.
5 and 2, I think so many people are trying to do 5 and 2. Me and Jen are like,
what the fuck is 5 and 2? Is 5 and 2 not a...
5 and 2 is a diet, but 5 and 2 is like what they're trying to call this whole, like, eat meat 5 times and don't eat it 2.
Oh, okay, sorry.
And Blind Boy, I think, is a huge. I think he started like that, and now he's gone. I think he eats meat once a week now.
Yeah.
So I think he's
that's the
totally
easiest
flipped
way
it,
to do it.
Well, it's the easiest way to, like, and I will say that my thought on meat has totally changed. Like, completely
sense?
changed in the way that, like, I think it's also, you have to remember, all my meals are cooked for me.
Yeah.
Like, let's not lie, I'm not fucking bagging together a meal like
Big up
Tom's,
Tom.
like,
Yup,
big
yup.
yup Tom. But like, his big thing is food, obviously, and it's his passion. It's like what he wants to do. By the way, I don't fucking force this. Everyone's like, you're so lucky. I'm like, he likes to do it, not me making him. But he watched, is it Aksha? Aksha? Have you not heard of it?
No.
It's a thing on Netflix, and it's like a movie, but it's about a pig, and it's apparently really sad. I won't watch
God,
it.
no,
And it's like about the
no.
meat industry and like how it's fucking killing the planet. And he was shook. We didn't eat meat for 2 weeks. Because I'll eat what's put in front of me. I don't particularly care. I just don't eat fish.
Yeah.
I
mean, like, you're doing your bit.
Yeah, I'm doing my bit.
You're doing your bit.
Not because I don't like it, because I don't eat it.
I saw a video before. Now, again, it could be fucking propaganda, it could be just conspiracy theories, it could be whatever, any of the above. But there was a video that I watched before, and it was going against vegetarian and veganism, in that it was showing the chain reaction of what would happen if we stopped harvesting animals. So, like, farmers, like, would have no purpose. Do you know what I mean? Like, apart from
Potatoes.
crops,
Yeah.
and, do you know, like
Potatoes.
just basically, no, yeah, I know,
More
but
potatoes.
ones that don't have crop farmers.
I'd like potatoes.
Well, there is that thing, and it's harder. It's hard in this country as well when the farming industry is so large. And I'm not sitting here. I don't want to do anyone out of a fucking job, right?
yeah.
But there is that thing.
But I do want to do you out of a job.
But
the planet is dying.
But they were also talking about the procreation of animals as well. Like, if they weren't getting killed off, we'd literally be overrun with. Well, this is the way that it was explaining it. Now I'd need to watch it again to actually brush up on what it was saying. But it actually sounded quite fucking scary. Like, if everybody went vegan, like, what would happen?
cows would take over.
Do you kn- Essentially,
So we'd have a cow in the Oris.
It'd be like cow Varadkar.
yeah,
It's like
Brad cow.
Varad cow. That's exactly what we'd have. On that topic though, like, I feel like, again, a person that probably is like a Mr. Meat made that video.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. That's what I mean. Like, I'd have to watch that again.
And like targeted you, sponsored added you, Jen who loves a burger, and Jen was like, yeah, fuck that, more burgers.
No, but that's what I mean. It could have been just fucking some sort of like conspiracy theory or whatever, because obviously there's two sides to everything when it comes to topics like this, and there's always scaremongering on both sides. So like, I don't know whether it was a bit of that, but it did actually convince me, like, oh fuck, it's actually good that we have a balance. Do you know,
yeah, and I think the best thing that anybody like who's listening here and who wants to make a conscious effort but they can't really figure out how, especially I know there's people with a very basic diet or a very picky diet, quote unquote, will struggle with this if they're like used to like a chicken nugget lifestyle, and like nugs are life, so I don't really blame
like,
you.
Yeah, and milky tea and whatever. Like, it's, it's hard.
Yeah, I get it. Like, exactly, milky tea, all those other bits and bobs. But like, try an oat milk. Because apparently it's delicious. I don't drink milk, so I wouldn't know.
I do enjoy oat milk, but I also am very much struggling to get off the dairy train.
Really? Because I've heard oat milk is like iconic, delicious.
I do love oat milk, but the only reason I still buy milk is because I would be the only one in the house who'd be like on an oat milk bandwagon. Like, my other housemate doesn't drink milk at all, so she'd be the same as herself. And then, like, I don't want to be just buying oat milk for myself when we can all share the cost of a regular cow's milk. I'm scabby.
That's what it comes
Too
down
long didn't
to.
listen.
But
I'm
that's
scabby.
what it can, like, come down to, especially in that way. Like, McDonald's will always double cheesy for €2.
But yeah, and that's the point I'm making.
Like,
if you're
where's
hungry,
your double veggie for €2?
yeah, if you're hungry, you've no money, you're gonna go get
A double
you're gonna go
cheesy.
for the cheapest option. You're gonna get a jam on. Like, that's
yeah.
I
that's
fucking
fine.
love a jambon.
Oh, jambons
But I
are
was
right.
only thinking the other day, right? Because I am passionate about jambons. Like, it's something that I do live for. Like, I do really enjoy a jambon. Like, Jen is like, will you shut the fuck up? Like, she's like falling off her chair over here. She's like, I hate you. And I don't blame you. You've been with me for like 18 weeks now. I don't fucking blame you. But a jambon would still be a delicious jambon without the chunks of ham. It's the cheese that makes the
I agree.
jambon.
Cheese and pastry.
So if we could rethink that, Spar, or like,
Get on it.
who is Mr. Jam? Like, all right to Mr. Jambon. If somebody
Mr.
knows,
Meat and Mr. Jambon.
Mr. Meat and Mr. Jambon, if you could hit me the fuck up.
You'd also have to change the name though, because it's a French version of
Chambon. It's like
ham.
that's ham. Yeah.
Un
Yeah.
petite cheese. Un petite cheese de pastry.
Why did you go from like French to like Italian? But
Petite cheese de pastry. It's Wario.
I have a long one here. Are we interested in hearing this?
Yeah.
No.
It's from it is from Jerry Maguire, who's actually my best friend. But he's
Jerry
very-
Maguire.
No, Jer.
Oh.
Jer.
No, I'm definitely
And
not interested in this.
You love him. You love him. He's doing a PhD basically on Indigenous people, and he's just talking about the effects that it has, like sustainability trend, and basically in the areas that they're living in,
Yeah.
they're gonna be fucked in like 15 to 20 years. So I'll read out what he said. So the thing is, in brackets, in my opinion, and to be fair, Indigenous people are my expertise. The thing about sustainability is that sometimes so far removed from what personally witness that the significance is lost. Sorry, Jer, that's not
Okay,
English.
Jer, if you could like please remember who we are.
Yeah.
We know you're doing a fucking PhD, but please remember us.
Yeah, we can all say islands are being destroyed, and that's sad, and that's because it's not our island and we don't see it with our own eyes. But climate change is terrifying. I think people need to view sustainability as something different, not as a chore, but as a basic human right, in brackets for many, but also human obligation. There are Indigenous and tribal groups living in islands that will have no choice in the next 10 to 15 years but to relocate because of rising sea levels. They're eroding islands into non-existent, and it is a fundamental right and freedom that people cannot be made stateless people. But again, it's so far removed from us that what we don't recognise the severity of the situation for others. Also, I guess I'm talking more about sustainable fuels and human sustainability, responsible development. Also, these groups, because of the little contact with others off their islands, don't have the same antibodies to common illnesses like we do. So not only will they become stateless, homeless people, and no state is obliged to help these people either, they will effectively be considered stateless refugees. They also face a very real risk of dying from a common cold.
Okay, well that was very long.
I know.
And I really
Dr. Jer, for you. That's Dr.
don't
Jer.
like. So what I got from that was that it's becoming so bad in these islands because of the rising sea levels, which is obviously global warming.
Yeah.
Which is what everything's do is that they're gonna actually have to leave those islands and like restart their culture, essentially.
Restart their culture, but realistically, no state has to help them because they're stateless bodies. So they would have to
that's fucked.
basically become refugees, and the kind of like immune systems that these people have, they could die of a common cold because they're just not around any. They're indigenous people.
Was there not something out recently where in recent months where it was like kind of predicting what would happen to Ireland if the sea levels rose, and like Cork is dushed, like, so I can absolutely relate to those indigenous people. I'll have to go away, restart my culture, be fucked, like, family halfly down the bottom of the sea, like,
on the rebels.
We will rebuild like fucking City of Atlantis. No, but what I took away from that is it's like people don't realise it's bigger than you using a fucking straw. Like, it's that thing. There was a glacier. I think it's Iceland or somewhere, where they basically unveiled this tribute to this glacier that was like, fucking whopper, it's gone now. It's gone.
Jesus.
That was us. Like, that didn't just happen out of nowhere. We did that. Like, me, you, everyone in this room. But it's the thing, it's like, that's what we're doing. And it's like, if you can't get out of your arse for 2 seconds just to be like, I'm going to take this straw, I'm going to have a fucking vegetable for once.
Yeah.
But that's what we're doing. It's so much bigger than us. And I know it's easy to get caught up in, like, but how much of a difference can I make? I get that. But is this not such a clear point of evidence where it's like, I could have done something and I didn't?
Well, on that topic, I obviously went travelling last year and we spent too fucking long in Bolivia. Now, Bolivia is the #1 quinoa producer in the world.
Love quinoa.
And quinoa is the new blood diamond.
What?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Because of the way that trend-based eating has gone. Like,
same with avocados and stuff.
Same with avocados, yeah, shit like that. Like, that's how fucked people are. But like, obviously, I get it because like quinoa became such a huge thing, but nobody thinks about it. So like, how we lived, we actually went to an indigenous part of Lake Titicaca, funniest name ever. But we went to the floating islands there. So the islands are actually built out of reeds. So we went onto their islands. There's around 8 people on each of their islands. They fully live there. Like, they don't go anywhere. That's where they live. There's no cars. There's no anything like that. They like, their car was their like a boat that they made out of reeds as well. And they'd be like, Mercedes, ha ha ha. Like, it was honestly one of the most incredible things that we ever did because we had no contact with the world. Like, it was just us there with their whole thing, grand. But we went to one of the islands and we had to do a homestay. So we stayed in their house, which means like no heating, no hot water, no anything like that. We stayed in the huts out the back. You might have remembered I was wearing like a traditional Peruvian dress. I looked absolutely outrageous, and Tom had like a kep bag. It was like with tassels on it. He looked iconic. Pink is his colour. But one of the tasks the next day, so we had to like live like them, obviously. Because what else were we going to do on this island? So we went, herding sheep, all that other kind of shite, like did a few different bits and bobs, it just depends. And one of the things that me and Tom had to do was we actually had to sort seeds from, like, they dumped, I'm not joking, it was a satchel. Obviously they don't use plastic over there because they're clever people. So your one had gone and like collected all of this like debris, let's just say. And we had to like sort quinoa from berries, from twigs, from whatever. It took us 2.5 hours to do one bag.
Because quinoa's tiny. And that's what we were, and that was their food. So we ate quinoa. Like, I will never ever eat quinoa again because of how much fucking quinoa I had in Bolivia. Like, but what's happened was, and our guide was telling us, because he's from Peru, but obviously Peru's been hit, same kind of situation. But that's how bad it's gotten now that they were like, pay people in quinoa, like not pay people in quinoa, but like tip them quinoa. Christ alive.
And like tip them, like when we went to Peru, the big thing was like tip them cacao leaves.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because that's what they eat, like that's what they munch on. It's the same situation that they're having with, like, that's going to be like the newer blood diamond or whatever. So it was like, as much as that's part of their culture. Like, there was quinoa soup, there was quinoa this, there was quinoa that. Like, they made everything out of quinoa, and they didn't really use a lot of meat because like their animals are precious. That's how they get like their milk and all that other kind of stuff. It was such a fucking eye opener.
Yeah.
Because this is their, like, Bolivia is very much, I don't think it's classed as a third world country, but it's close.
Yeah. Like,
it's very close. Out of South America, it was one of the poorest places that we went to. It's really, it's its own place. I really didn't enjoy it for different reasons. It's like weather and a few other fucking dodgy things. But like, you see how they live, and it's fucked what we're doing to them.
Yeah.
But because like, they don't bother us, why the fuck are we bothering them, kind of thing?
But it's again where it's the responsibility on like I don't mean influencers, because it's wider than influencers. It's like fucking everyone else who's pushing this kind of like, if you want to be vegan, this is what you need to be eating. If you want to be healthy, blah blah blah. When it's like it's like it is. I don't want to say it's easy to be vegan because that's not fair. And obviously I'm not vegan.
It's
I can't really
definitely not easy.
But like there's a lot of misconceptions about like this is what you need to be eating and stuff, blah blah. When like a lot of what we're eating in our diets anyway is vegan, and a lot of what Ireland produces itself, like we produce so much in terms of natural produce. Like you don't need quinoa, you don't need avocados.
You don't fucking need quinoa. We've like, loads of shit. We've potatoes, lads. I can't stand potatoes hard enough.
Yeah, I love potatoes.
You can do everything with potatoes.
All the whinging during the famine, and now like what? All you want is fucking quinoa and avocados. How dare you? How dare you turn your back on the roosters after all they've done?
Everything they've done for you. Do we have another?
We have actually quite a few.
Yeah, to be honest, we got a lot of, like, not kickback obviously because that sounds bad, but we got a lot of feedback from everyone here because I think it is such a hot topic. It's a saucy little hot topic.
Absolutely. And then it's this thing where everyone is talking about it now, so I can understand again, not kickback, but I can understand people being like, Jesus, fucking play another tune or whatever, or people just not being on board yet. But I just, as Jen just said, or whoever wrote it in, it needs to stop being seen as a chore and just being seen as something like
that you do now.
That you do, yeah.
What do you guys think about electric cars?
I just had an opinion there on the Insta, and it was saying there's not enough chargers. Like they just bought an electric car and to get from Cork to, I can't remember, Galway to Cork. They run out of battery.
I can imagine, yeah.
Well,
Do you know what I mean?
there's 6,000. I know this because Ray went and was sustainable and bought
Ray.
himself an electric car.
Yeah.
Woo! Ray.
We stan
my dad so hard, but we love him. We love Ray. But he obviously all he's wanted forever is an electric car, but he was like, I can't afford it. Like, I just can't make it work. You know, they are so expensive, and they are fucking expensive, lads.
This is another thing why people won't get on board with buying bamboo toothbrushes for a family of four.
Because they're so expensive.
Fucking expensive.
Yeah.
Like,
and I do understand that when it comes down to it. But me and my mate, we were getting something in Wicklow one of the days, and we drove from Ashburn to Wicklow and the battery died. So we found, and I mean, we were lost doing fucking circles up there now, like nearly bumping into Larry Murphy and the crew. So like it was tough enough. Like, and we found, so when we were Googling, we're frantic, I'm on the phone to Ray, I'm like, what the fuck's going on? Because I can't do anything without that man in my life, apparently. I can't just pick up Google, I have to get him to do it. And he found a garage, went to the garage, broken.
But like, that's
broken.
Why?
So we were at this garage, another Leaf user, on up beside us, broken. So we're like, right. So we have our own power cord here, and there's loads of different ways you can charge a reusable car. There's a fast portal, and then there's the like at home portal, which will take like 3 hours for a full charge, and then there's slower ones again. Fast charge ones, I think they've cut it down to like 30 minutes to charge your car fully. So as Ray says, if I'm driving to Cork, I'll just pull in and I'll just get a coffee and a donut. That's exactly how my father talks. And I'll just wait. And it's fine, honey.
I love
it's
Ray's
fine.
lifestyle.
his
I love the way
iconic.
I love that you called them reusable cars as well, as if I'm gonna fucking throw my Nissan Micra in the bin after one spin. Like,
fuck that Micra, off you pop.
do you think hybrid is the way to go then, because you can kind of switch then?
But this is the problem, because like I was with one of my friends and she's like, she's not a petrol head, but she likes her cars, and she was like, oh my god, this is deadly. And then by the end of it she was like, this is fucked, I'm never buying one. And we googled it, there's 6,000 electric vehicles in Ireland and there's 1,000 chargers. So
the logic, guys.
The logic isn't
the
there.
logic.
And then I went with her to buy a car a week later because she just so happened to be buying a car. And here's me being like, oh, Nissan Leafs are the way forward. Fucking sustainable cars. Like Tom's dream car is a Tesla because he's so fucking sustainable. And lie. But we went to the garage and your mum was like, yeah, the amount of Leafs I've sold and have been returned within like a year.
Oh no.
Because people just can't adapt to that lifestyle. They just can't work it in. They want to go to the shop. They don't want to have to go charge their car to go to the shop.
Yeah.
And he was like, but the problem is Ireland's not equipped. And he was like, and it won't be equipped for 30 years.
Oh Jesus.
30 years. So as much as I am such a promoter of like electric vehicles, I think they're great, especially like if you're out there and you're somebody who was like me, not so much anymore because I drive for work now, but I used to work in the Blanchardstown Centre, so I used to go from Castleknock to the Blanchardstown Centre, which is a 6-minute drive, and home. And that was basically it. And then if I was going to town, I get the bus or the train. And that was my thing. So if you're gonna be that kind of driver, maybe thinking about them, because how many times are you gonna have to charge your car essentially?
Yeah, that's
like
true.
if you're like older, any of that kind of stuff, like those, like a car, if we could change cars, we'd like revolutionize the world, obviously. But what's his face? You know, your man Tesla. What's his face?
Elon Musk.
Elon Musk.
Say Thomas Tesla.
There is a Thomas Tesla though, and he was the one who
Thomas the Tesla.
No,
Thomas
there
the Tesla
is
that I own.
Thomas Tesla. Have you
Google
never
it.
heard of him?
No,
oh,
Google that.
you're fucking missing out on Thomas. He was Einstein's fucking what's his face, like kind of competition.
How do you know
Yeah.
that?
Because my dad watched a lot of the History Channel, and I get roped
And
in.
you just pick out the random things.
No, he was very interesting. You should look him up. He was trying to make electricity.
Next podcast, guys.
Yeah,
I'm probably bringing on Thomas Tesla.
Tesla.
He was
Next
trying
week's
to,
episode, Thomas Tesla.
Sort out all the electricity for all the world, but governments got involved and started charging people for. He wanted to give the whole world free electricity, like.
It always comes back to money. Always.
It does, but that's what Elon Musk is saying, isn't it? He's like, I think he said within the next 10 years he'll have like electric cars starting at $5,000.
That's what you need, though.
And
right?
coming from somebody
Be
who's
able
like
to-
a luxury, like a Tesla, to buy a brand new, like to buy the lowest class of a Tesla, it's 60k sterling. Yeah,
Nice.
at the moment. But that's just, but I'm appreciative of the fact that at least he has a vision. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Also, thanks Nissan for making them kind of affordable.
Yeah.
We love you.
But
Niamh.
again, it's just like the government and the wider
Yeah.
subsections of not like, we need to have more chargers, because
do
then
you
you're going
not
to encourage
think-
people. Like, to be honest, it's not like, I would love to be in a position to get an electric car, but one, no money, and two, because of the reason you just
Yeah.
said, I'm mainly using the car to
drive back to Cork.
To drive back to Cork.
Because otherwise you do take public transport quite a bit, don't you?
I was very bad for it recently, if you'd watched my Love Island stories, I was doing them from the car and I was driving a lot. Again, that was for work, but I'm trying really not to do that now because I realise that was shit. And I didn't always necessarily need to, but it was just a case of like, again, convenience, laziness, whatever.
Yeah.
But like, I'd love to think that I'll get to a point where I'll have an electric car, but I don't know when. My friend has the
Yeah.
one where it's like a Prius. What is there? Where they're
Yeah,
like
they're hybrids.
yeah.
hybrid, yeah. Where
Switch.
I feel like I'd go like a half and half kind of job, where it's like half petrol, half electric, or whatever. I
And
feel
that,
like that's more realistic for me.
That's probably where
Yeah.
Ireland's going.
Yeah,
And that's what your
definitely.
man said in the garage. He was like, hybrid is kind of the only thing that we're equipped to do.
Yeah.
Because you're still doing your best, but then you're...
That's what my mum and
Covered.
dad have, a hybrid. They got one of those Auruses. It's like they're basically doing new versions of the, like I have the old Aurus. It's a diesel. My mum and dad have a hybrid Aurus, but
Yeah.
like if she's just going up to the shop or whatever, she'll just use electric
Or
and then-
walk.
No, like, but you know what I mean. Like
Oh, the
that'd
shopping
be-
centre. Or
Shopping centre,
Yeah.
yeah. But or if she was like going further, she'd use the petrol. But like, it's still a lot better than my diesel.
The problem is when you're talking about things like cars and stuff like that, you're putting a thought process there when people are they just will reject that. Like, and prime example, my mother. Like, you give her, like, she can't even shop online without supervision. She's that like about everything. So if I was like to her, here's this brand new car, or not brand new car, but like, here's this, you know, electric Leaf and blah 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 blah, and like, you're just gonna, she'd be like, no, Carla, no, just give me a petrol car, no. And that's the kind of mentality that I think you're coming up against. Because the minute you take that ease away from people, and I can't remember what company it is, but they're trying to make pickup trucks, electric pickup trucks, because they're trying to appeal to like that Floridian alligator man who likes alligators, who's from Florida, who wears sandals and t-shirts and shorts and eats in Jack in the
Loves the
Box.
Confederate flag.
I'm like, would hump it if they could.
Pew pew.
Merca.
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 Just want to hear from a dairy farmer.
Oh shit, yeah.
Yeah, I've had a couple of them onto me as well in the past, and I've tried to not willingly engage with them because
Really? Oh god, I
feel
haven't read it yet. I was gonna read it off.
And I ignore you.
no, but like, it's when obviously if you're talking about a vegetarian or vegan diet, like obviously the dairy farmer is going to be like, what about us? That's fair, but I would rather like. I'm a part of me is like, there's a part of them not willing to like acknowledge their own bias. But again, as I've already said, I'm not trying to do anyone out of a job. I understand that, but I don't have the solution, so I don't want to be like engage with
I
them.
don't actually come with the solution.
I don't know what I can tell them. But anyway, read it because I am intrigued.
Well, she seems to be on board with, I'll just read it out. I actually haven't read this. I just see at the start. Hello, Ruth here, dairy farmer. See further down. I love the sustainability buzz, and I think it's about time there was a bit of a fuss made over it. I love learning new habits. I can adopt and become more mindful about my choices I make as a consumer. Just think twice. Buy honey in a jar instead of a squeezy tube, or rice in a box instead of a plastic bag. I do think we need to be wary of people taking advantage of this, though. A petty example is the promotion of quote-unquote bamboo travel cutlery to take with you to work. Just take a set of cutlery from your drawer. I think that the most damaging things to our planet is 1, convenience, and 2, trends. I agree that it is important to commend people for the small changes that we are making, but I have to oppose the notion that a vegan vegetarian diet is beneficial for the environment. This is what you were saying. People who latch on to headlines they read online, and currently the vegan movement is being heavily pushed on social media, and often the research that is coming from the other countries is not applicable to us. It is important to look at this from an Irish perspective. Sure, we have high outputs, but that is simply a reflection of the size of the agriculture within our economy. It's also worth noting that our lovely green country is a massive carbon sink, but there is no calculation or allowance for the amount of carbon that is sequestered through our Irish farmland. Sorry, this is a really long one. I didn't realise it was this long. So basically, she's saying like she likes the whole sustainability thing, but doesn't agree with like the diet and stuff.
That's fair. And again, like to be honest, I would never claim that I know enough. From the research that I've looked into, it seems like it's kind of the way to go. The point about the sequestering thing is pretty fair as well, because that's where they're trying to stop working on the bogs, because the bogs like basically, I don't know the science, but they just basically go just suck up all that sweet CO2. So they're trying to like shut down like the peat plants and whatever else. And I think your man who's the environment minister, whose name I can't remember, they have a target to have them all closed by a certain date.
I thought bogs were good.
They are good, but it's a case of we need to stop being at them, like, do you know what I mean? We need to leave them alone.
Like stop trying to get the bodies out of them.
She was saying she was also
hello and welcome to the True Crime Podcast.
She was also saying, just kind of towards the end of it, is what I was saying as well about that video that I saw, is like what would be the kind of knock-on effect if people stopped eating meat. So she just basically said, what would happen to the national and local economies if there wasn't livestock production? We would lose a significant amount of our exports, and we become reliant on imports, because we wouldn't be able to produce all of our own food and nutritional requirements in our climate. There would be thousands upon thousands of job losses. Our beef and dairy sectors are grass-based, which is very environmentally friendly system. The carbon footprint of the Irish milk is joint lowest in the EU, and Irish beef is the 5th lowest.
You keep getting these essays, don't you?
I know, yeah.
Jen's like,
well, I see. I don't really. She did make really good points, and I don't want to leave them out either. Do you know what I mean? She put all that effort into writing it in.
Just on the bamboo thing, I do agree with that, because I got paid recently after a very long time.
oh my lord, you actually, wow.
Yeah, divine.
Wow, life of freelancer.
Love freelancing. Anyway, and I was like, I had these kind of things that I was like, right, I'm going to get them now. I'll have money. Like I've been putting them off, so I was going to get like a menstrual cup. Haven't gotten that yet, but I will. And then I was like, I'll get a bamboo toothbrush, blah, 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 whatever, blah, blah. And then I was like, sat down and thought about it. I was like, I have a toothbrush there. That's fine.
You're buying.
Like, why? Like, I will get a bamboo toothbrush when that one is fucked.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean?
Have a box of tampons there, they're fine.
They're fine. No, I really need to get a menstrual cup. But I was like, why? I'm just contributing. What I'm doing isn't really that beneficial, because it's just, I already have the thing.
Yeah, buy it
use
when you
that.
need it.
Buy, like, I'm just buying into it now because it's like, it's not really that good when you already have something to be used up.
Yeah.
In
So
terms
I
of
do
the other
get
stuff, that's fair. And that's a place where I need to do more research and look into it. There's so much information and there's so much misinformation. I think, again, that's why people are very like, fucking not in my backyard, like shaking their hands about it, because they're like, that's not the expression at all, but you know what I mean, like where they're just like, right,
Not in my bedroom.
where they're like, I can't get on board with this because like I don't know what to believe or whatever. And obviously farming is so intrinsic with Ireland and Irish culture.
Yeah,
I get that, and it's like, it's something that I want to look into. Again, I'm not vegan, so I love the cows.
Yeah.
In more ways than one. I love to eat them. I love to look at them.
Yeah, they're
cows.
fabulous creatures, but I
Will-
also like, I have to detach my need for them
Yeah.
with the fact that I eat them.
Yeah. Cowspiracy is supposed. You were just talking about other good documentaries. I haven't seen any of them. Like, if anyone is looking for like recommendations,
I don't think I'm ready to watch. There's so many things on Netflix
What the
about
Health,
me.
Okja,
Knives Over Forks.
Knives Over Forks. There's a shit ton on Netflix.
The True Cost is about sustainable fashion and about how that
I want to watch that.
fast fashion about how it's affecting the industry. It's supposed to be very, very good. Have not watched.
I watched that as I put up an AF for a boohoo dress. Like,
Isn't there one about dairy as well? I don't really get the whole thing about, because on one hand I'm hearing like you can't be consuming dairy, like it's so bad for you, like it's so bad for you shouldn't be doing this with dairy or whatever, and then you have like actual dairy companies doing this whole complete natural thing saying like it is good. Do you know what I mean? Half the time I don't fucking know what to believe. Like, do you know what I mean?
They're shitting bricks because the almonds are coming up against them. The almonds and their titties, like. Do you know what I mean?
Almond tit.
But the thing about that is as well is there's a lot of water that goes into the production of almond milk. So if you're talking about like the best milk to drink, it's oat milk. But I think there is like a general
milk your oat.
There's a fear from the dairy industry and like the Irish Dairy Council where they're like, oh, again, well, there's this misinformation that it's like so unnatural and whatever, when it obviously is. Like, obviously it is. But the thing is as well, and we discussed this on Bandwagons, where we're the only species that continues to drink milk after like babyhood or being a child. Do you know what I mean? Like no other animal or like species does that, which is... But again, I haven't looked into that enough either. Like, there's a lot of research that is like, dairy's bad, dairy causes X, Y, Z. And there's a lot of other research where it's been like, no, that's not proven.
These
like,
bones need calcium.
But like, to be honest, I think those ads would nearly make anyone go fucking vegan or dairy free because they're so fucking annoying. And again, you're talking to the biggest milky tea drinker in the world. Like, and I don't know when I'm ever going to stop. But like, I think they're taking the wrong approach with it with those ads. I don't know how you feel about them, or they're just really fucking annoying.
What ads?
Do you know the one where it's like that one where they're doing yoga, it's the child and she's like, let the nutrients flow, and your one's reading, she brings her the carton of almond milk and she's like reading down all the ingredients, and
where
she's
the
like,
fuck have I been? What is that?
They're just weird.
Pro ads are
no, but there was new ones on between Love Island as well, where it was your man was going on a date with a carton of milk. On a boat.
On a boat, like.
Oh, like, kill me now.
Like, exactly.
Find a bin. Place me into bin.
Yeah.
I'm done.
What do you think, because like we're talking an awful lot about us making changes, going like getting paper straws, buying your metal straws or whatever, so you're not actually using the straws and all that shit, doing your coffee cups and that, your refillable cups. But what do you think about, like, do we think companies are really to blame for like making this shit available in the first place? I know myself from doing me shopping in like Dunn's or whatever, and in fairness, I probably wouldn't have been that conscious on getting sustainable, you know, like the packaging and that, like being that conscious of it. But there was a shit ton of stuff that needed to be thrown out by the end of like me putting all the stuff away into the cupboards. Do you know what I mean? Like, I feel like I can't really control that. I think that's down to the company.
Do you mean in terms of packaging?
Yeah.
But I feel like, again, when it comes to shopping lists, and this is a big thing, like, because in my household we have 4 people that shop 4 totally different ways.
Yeah.
And it's always an argument. Like, it's never not an argument, let me tell you. My dad, who barely eats at home, he just doesn't. My aunt brings in food for him because she's got a big family, so she makes an extra portion for Ray, and he kind of eats like once a day anyway. He's not a big eater. You've got my sister, who is like #1 fast fashion buyer, shopper, doesn't give a shite, will buy, you know, lettuce in a packet that's chopped for convenience but never eat the lettuce. You know, kind of shit. Like, she does consistently. Then you have me, who's happy to do one big shop and then buy my meats twice a week. That's what I want to do. And then you fucking Tom, who wants to go to the shop every day and waste my time. Like, but at the same time, he is so in tune with what he can cook from what's in the fridge. Yeah. But he's like, that's due to his education, like not his education, he's not fucking educated, but it's due to his education and interest in food.
He's taking the time and he knows.
Because he's like, oh, we have this, and this. I'll do a blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, what? And he's like, yeah, I'll just whip up a pasta dish with, you know, asparagus, like these old beans and all this other random shit. But that's down to education again. Yeah. So it's down to the fact that that's his interest and that's what he knows how to do. Whereas if that was me, I'd be like, no food in the fridge. Fucking shy.
My lot of odds and ends in there.
Yeah. My housemate is vegan, right? And she is like, and it's the same one with the Prius, but like, she is a fucking devil for wasting food. Like, it drives
but it drives
me
you up the fucking walls, doesn't it?
fucking insane. Because she keeps it, and she's like, she's a believer in like best before dates are like bullshit, and I'm kind of like
They
that as
are
well.
bullshit,
but
yeah.
then it's like, if something is rotting in the back of the fridge, like that's
gone.
That's gone.
That's gone.
But just on the subject that you said there about like packaging and stuff, totally agree. But the shopping places, shops. That's the word.
The shopping place.
shops.
The shops.
The onus is on them in terms of the extra packaging. So like Lidl are doing a thing now where you can just take all the packaging off the shit and put it in these bins. Like, they will recycle all the packaging for you and dispose of it. Yeah, a buzz. But technically all of the shops should be doing it, but just half them fucking don't. But I completely get that as well. It's that convenience thing again where it's like, okay, I want to reduce my plastic use, but like the Tesco near me is like a Tesco, it's one of the small ones. Tesco Metro.
Extra or a Metro?
Metro. And like my nearest shop then is like another like 10 or 15 minute walk, which isn't that far, but like if you're doing like a big enough shop or whatever, and,
No,
you,
you're
and
not
again,
doing that, yeah.
you don't want to take the car, like why would I be bothering my fucking hole to walk 2 things so I can get 4 loose apples so I can just get the 6 there and they have a bit of cling film on it? Like, do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, I get it. Like, it's very, places do not make it easy. They really, really don't. And it's so frustrating.
It's also down to prep, because if you wrote out a shopping list, if you knew what you were cooking that week, that's why me and Tom have so many arguments, because I'm like, let's make a plan. And he's like, what if I don't want to eat Mexican on Tuesday? I'm like, we'll have it on Thursday.
Yeah.
It's really that difficult.
I'm just talking about in terms of like, say, like me and Adam, we love drinking cans of Coke. Like, do you know what I mean? Like,
No
try
drinking
and go-
cans, that's it.
But, like, it's cheaper
Full
to get.
stop, yeah.
It's cheaper to
Yeah.
get like the tray, but it's always wrapped in a big thing of
Yeah.
plastic. Like, do you know what I mean?
I was just thinking
but I've
that.
no control over that.
But
It's
then-
either that or buy 24 cans at $1.50 each that don't have the plastic around it. Do you know what I mean? Of course I'm going to buy the
But could
tray
shops
for
not like,
€8.
you know, use their fucking brains when it comes to that? Like, I'm thinking Crunch Corners here, you know, delicious treat. A delicious treat. But like,
A delicious dream for any time of
a delicious treat. Fucking love them. This is sponsored by now. And like, you know the way you get the 6 in the pack, but it's like a big wrapped in cellophane plus a big cardboard thing. Why not be like 1 for $1.50, or you can buy 6 for €3? So if you put 6, it defaults at the fucking till, so I can buy 6 because they're already individually wrapped.
Yeah.
So why would I be like putting a big yoke of cardboard there for it to be packaged up, for it to be like vanilla
Yeah.
with chocolate balls?
And like a flower,
And
or like a
like-
vanilla pod.
Yeah, a vanilla pot.
Stunning.
Done.
We love an aesthetic.
Yeah.
Delicious
Right.
treat.
I just feel like there's sometimes we just don't have control. Like, my sister sent me this. Now, this is a podcast. It's not a visual thing, but I'll show the girls. So my sister ordered a mop and she sent me this picture today. It's like, it's a big, huge box for a tiny mop.
Amazon.
Like, she was like, use this in your fucking podcast.
I could do a
And she
fucking
just-
whole podcast on Amazon.
She just said, ordered back to school stuff online, and my green bin is half full with packaging. Carry metal straws around with me, and now, and even Nathan is saying, when Nathan's my nephew, he's 10, he's even talking about plastic waste. I love the fact that Nespresso give you out recycling bags, which they do. I've had to bring them back for her before. They give you a recycling bag when you buy your little capsules.
That's cool.
At the thing, and you bring them back and then you get more. But yeah, she's just like, that's the only kind of company that she's come across that actually go out of their way to.
Well, what I will
Do
say
anything.
is that I was talking to, because I obviously despise children and I don't have them around me at any time, because I hate them that much. But
I'm so
she's in
excited.
the background like, shut the fuck up.
I'm actually so excited for her to meet my unborn child.
Oh
seriously.
yeah, it's
Can't
like over the
wait.
fucking moon. I love him. It's so cool. But Claire was telling me about her kids, and Farah is a woke. I think
Oh,
she's
she
like
is
8
so
or
woke.
9. She's really woke. But she said like around their house, her and Ian were telling me that like she's consistently like, sustainability, mum, blah blah blah, all this other stuff, because they're actually drilling it into kids' heads now.
That's good though. If
Yeah.
they're doing it in school, like.
It's a thing in schools where it's like, I heard someone say now, or it might have been the guy in the repack thing, where it's like the kids aren't allowed, there's no plastic allowed in the lunchboxes. Like,
That's great.
yeah,
brilliant.
which is a buzz.
Yeah.
But on the topic of kids, because that just reminded me,
Ugh.
Prince Harry came out today and
Do we
said
have to talk about children?
that they're only going to have 2 kids because to protect the planet.
Oh.
But like, that's grand. You're in the top fucking richest 10%.
Yeah.
Do you know how much more the carbon emissions the richest 10% produce? 175 times, because they're fucking rich. So like, thanks Prince Harry. Thanks for being so considerate that he did this other thing where he's like, he's going to plastic free hotels and whatever, and they're only having 2 kids. That's grand. You are shitting cash. Maybe like
You were also a helicopter
Maybe-
flyer for a while.
yeah, maybe
Flyer
like
pilot. You were a flyer.
Like
Flew around in the helicopter.
Fly out of helicopters.
Yeah.
Ginger hair.
I know you.
Half caste kids. Love it. Fly out of helicopters.
just flapping his arms.
Sounds like a fucking title from Game of Thrones. Fly out of helicopters.
Flyer of helicopters. There you go.
But yeah, that's the thing. That's a new thing now where it's like you need to stop fucking having kids. Sorry, Jen, but like apparently like they're just
Jen's on her first and she's like, fuck you.
They're just
You're
wrecking
not
it.
born.
No, let me open this article because it says how much it reduces it if we all reduce the amount of kids. But like it's just ridiculous for him to say that when again
Oh, yeah.
it's
Right.
like if you did maybe I don't know redistributed your wealth,
Yeah.
But at
we
the
could
same
be a bit
time,
more sorted.
his kids will be rich kids.
Yeah.
So 3 of them or 4 of them versus 2 of them. Like,
Probably
think
better.
about it. Like, have a chat with Will and Kate, maybe.
But like, stop taking your private plane as well then. Like,
But that's another thing, and that's
Now, in fairness, not to fucking be a royal dick sucker,
Not to
but
be
I think
Kim Kardashian.
I think he's good enough for not taking private planes. But like,
Oh, is he not?
yeah.
Well,
They
she's
still
really into
own one though. They still have one.
Well, they're
I
the
would
fucking
imagine so,
royals,
yeah.
Jenny. I'd hope so.
Air Force One for the Queen.
They're probably playing Floyd Saints themselves and Matt Yoke. Playing Matt Singh. I think we're gonna have to wrap this up because we've probably been here in 105 hours, and I'm pretty sure like Shane's gone through in 9 bottles of wine over there.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't blame
Okay.
me.
Like 110 hours.
Yeah, like literally. Good luck editing that one. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
We
I
really
had a
appreciate it.
bloody great time.
You did, didn't you?
I really did.
You weren't feeling it at the start.
It's very hot in this room.
It always is. Like,
It's like a wilting flower, and now I'm watered.
there's a dormant fan
Through
over there.
friendship.
Whose fucking fault is that? Dormant fan. Yeah, you've been our first guest.
Yeah.
And
I'm so privileged. Thanks so much, and I love this podcast.
Oh, you're
I
not
was
that
very,
privileged, like.
I was very buzzed. No, I mean I'm just
the only
trying to
person
be
who
nice.
listens is like my dad.
Hashtag lickhole. I listen to it. Me and Ray.
You fucking don't listen to it.
I listen to some of it.
Shane listens to half of 3 episodes.
Shane openly admitted that he didn't finish the last one, so suck my dick.
Well, that's allowed. You are supposed to be an ally. So fuck you.
I love it. No,
What do
thank
we-
you very much.
What are we talking about next week?
Next week we're talking about claim culture.
Yeah, I'm really excited about this.
Yeah.
Obviously, we have
Sorry,
a,
that's going to be a buzz.
that's
Yeah.
going to be
Do you
it's
wanna
going to be
come
lit.
I'll come back and listen. I have nothing
Come
to
back in the
contribute.
background there, drinking fucking wine. But we're talking about claim culture. Obviously, we had the news of Oktoberfest not being ran this year as the insurance went from 1,900 to 20 grand to run the, I think it's a festival. Is it a festival?
Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
a weekend thing down
Like weekend
in
thing because of the
Liverpool.
amount of claims that have been coming in. That's just one that's obviously just one example. If you have any experience with claims, claim culture, any stories, anything along those lines, I don't know the number off by heart. Jen does.
085 725 2127. That's our burner phone.
That's our burner.
Yeah, no, I think everybody's been affected. Like if you pay insurance, you have been
You have
affected,
been affected by claim culture. And apparently Ireland, I will get the statistics, but we are on the rise.
Oh yeah, no, it's ridiculous.
Of course we are. It's like free money.
Yeah.
Just give me things
Fucking
to buy more fast fashion.
Yeah.
So that's what we're going to be talking about. If you've any cool insights, awkward insights, if you are a judge, let me know.
Tell us your stories as well. Though, like they will infuriate me, but I would still be interested to hear. You know, like
my God, I
wander
can't-
down the road.
Yeah, I can't wait to hear about people ratting on their neighbours. That is
Oh,
gonna be
no.
so lit.
I love a rat.
I love her.
I love a rat.
Rats in.
Rats
Rats
in, if you
in.
will. Rats into this podcast.
Yes.
Otherwise, yeah, we'll see you next week.
See you next week. Thank you so much.